about comics. Let's talk about comics. Let's talk about comics. Let's talk about comics.
Harambe YouTube. Tomorrow being New Comic Book Day. I figured I'd give you a little heads up on what's going to be in the stores, what stood out to me, and give you stuff to look for when you go out looking for them new books so you're not going in blind. So let's get into it. We're going to start, as always, with the stuff that's out right now. If you are a DC Batman fan, I highly recommend you get Red Hood #1. Not just because it was a brilliant read, read it as soon as it came in, really enjoy it, gonna read it again, but due to unfortunate non-comic book related circumstances, this is unfortunately going to be the beginning in an entire run of this series. Book 1 set up a great mystery, a great atmosphere, and I was really lamenting what could have been with this, but unfortunately, things happening behind the scenes at DC. If you're in the comics, you probably heard about it. But that series, the rest of that series has been canceled. So get Red Hood #1 while you can. Bronze Faces #5 in stores now. It's about repatriation of black culture and art to Africa. Very good book. This is from Mad Cave Comics. It's called It Killed Everyone But Me. Very interesting looking horror piece. I will probably be doing a review on it. We have what I see as being probably the next real big sci-fi hit. Blood and Thunder follows a half alien, half human bounty hunter on a terraformed asteroid, and a mystery of what's going on there, and great action. The last issue was really about building lore, so much so it didn't even feature our main protagonist. So it's a series I think is going to be around a while. One underappreciated series that I always suggest is Conan the Barbarian. We are at number 24 of this Titan Comics run. And if you read Conan when it was under Marvel and you haven't read since, really this is a whole different vibe to Conan. A lot, very true to the Robert E. Howard stories. It's not as repetitive, and it actually moves the story along as opposed to having the Conan story spin its wheels to churn out another issue. And then we have the return of the Punisher. This is Red Band Comics, so it's not going to be for kids. But the Punisher, Frank Castle, is back. So that's what's already in stores that I am really excited about. So let's see what is going to be dropping tomorrow. Like I said, these are just a few notable things that stood out to me. Start off with Batman #1 Facsimile Edition. So they're going to be putting out a new reprint of that #1 issue. If you're a Batman fan, that's going to be one you don't want to miss. Harley Quinn, Wild at Heart. Okay. Yep, that's what it is. Sorry, my writing has me thrown off a little bit here. So that's going to be another one again, DC. Batman Universe. Vampirella Armageddon #3 is coming out. And then one that I'm not buying, but it looked interesting, and it's one of these titles that if you're not a traditional comic book fan, it's a familiar title. It's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Casey Jones, #1 from IDW. We got Bloodletter, #4 from Image Comics. That's part of the Spawn universe. Bloodletter, the protagonist is actually going after her antagonist, who is Spawn. And so it's kind of, it's interesting that dichotomy, seeing Spawn as the big bad guy in his, universe. So I'm really enjoying that. The Curse of Shirley Johnson, #3. That's also in the Spawn universe. And then one that I've not heard anybody else talk about, but I think is brilliant. Dark Honor. I believe this is going to be the last issue. It's #5. Dark Honor is a gangland story set in New York in the 2020 at the height of the COVID epidemic. And the pandemic itself almost plays a character looming over everything, creating fear and a power vacuum in the New York Mafia that, opportunists try to take advantage of violently. Brilliant book from Image Comics. What else we got? Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger Spawn #9. That's going to be the origin story of Gunslinger Spawn. Also from Image Comics, Exquisite Corpses #5. I am really enjoying that. It is kind of a horror / survival story. We got G.I. Joe #11, part of the Energon universe that includes Transformers and World Rivals along with G.I. Joe. Walking Dead Deluxe #121. So that's going to be another property. If you're not into comic books, that's going to be a familiar name. But if you recognize you're a Walking Dead fan, go ahead and get into that one. Witchblade #14 from Image Comics. And then something that really surprised me is Exquisite Corpses Volume 1 trade paperback is actually going up for sale. So that would be a great way to catch up if you haven't been able to get a hold of those first few issues. Get a hold of that trade paperback. It's going to be one low price for, I believe, the first 4 or 5 issues. Well worth it. And then we have very, very exciting news. We have a Marvel and DC crossover. Deadpool and Batman. It's going to be a one-shot. They have brilliant covers featuring different people from the DC and Marvel universes interacting. I am very excited about that. And what else we got? Marvel Rivals one-shot. I believe that's built on the game. And then a book that I am very excited for. When I got into Blade Runner, I talk about the series often. It's my favorite comic universe. I have read and reread those books so many times. And what got me into it was the Blade Runner Black Lotus anime that was on Adult Swim a few years ago. That was my introduction to the lore and universe of Blade Runner, and I was hooked from there. I literally went that next week to my comic book store to get some Blade Runner comics. And Blade Runner Black Lotus actually got her own comic run. And then you're going to be getting another comic run featuring the Black Lotus character called Blade Runner Black Lotus Las Vegas. So I am really looking forward to that. Not only a Blade Runner series, but one featuring the character who got me into Blade Runner. And I highly suggest, if you can get a hold of the trade paperbacks, you will not be disappointed. Every series fills you in on the lore, the history, and where they are at in the story. So many great series from Blade Runner 2039, Blade Runner 2029, Blade Runner 2049, Blade Runner Origins, Blade Runner Black Lotus, Blade Runner Tokyo. So, you can find those. And I think a couple of more at your local comic book store, or order them on Amazon or through Midtown Comics. So that's what's coming out tomorrow. Get to your local comic book store. If you don't have a local comic book store, check out my friend Jeff at coffeeandthecomic.com. Not only do they have great rates on shipping and a wide selection, you get free fresh ground coffee with every order. Or you can go to Midtown Comics. They have great prices. Their shipping is a little bit higher, but they have the widest selection, and you're not going to have to wonder, are they going to have this book? They're going to have that book in, multitudes. So I will see you guys next time. Tune in tomorrow for a brand new unboxing from Midtown Comics. And I'll see you guys next time. Until then, keep reading them books. I'm out.